quilting words can be a little nutty, right? We have layer cakes, jelly rolls, fat quarters. Here's a breakdown on what they are and what all their sizes are. I want to start with one of the most popular, a fat quarter. This piece of fabric is a fat quarter. Well, it's a quarter of an inch, it's a quarter of a yard, not an inch. It's a quarter yard of fabric. Now, if you went to the fabric store and said, give me a quarter yard, they're going to cut you a strip that's 9 inches deep and 44 inches wide. Not a lot you can do with a skinny strip. But if you took that and cut it in half and put the halves together, it's like squishing it down. It made that quarter a fat quarter, and maybe that's why they call it that. I'm not quite sure, but it measures 18 by 22. It's much more usable space for a quilter, and it's fantastic. Now, one is just called a fat quarter, but if you get several, you can get a fat quarter bundle. Like this is a fat quarter bundle. This is another version of a fat quarter bundle, as is this. There's all types of the bundles. Now, before we're done with the fat quarter, the rules of math say that an eighth is half of a quarter. So there is such thing as a fat eighth. And a fat eighth, this piece of fabric is, it's half of the fat quarter, right? Pretty simple. Next, let's talk about charms. Charms are small and they're charming, and maybe that's why they're called charms, I don't know. But the smallest size you get is a 2.5 inch square. It's called a mini charm. These are mini charm packs. That means there's 40 to 42 of them in each pack. Now the actual charm itself is a 5 inch square of fabric. And a singular one, of course, is called a charm, but in groups you can order charm packs, which again will have 40 to 42 inside of each pack. And usually on the back they show exactly what each one looks like, which is very helpful too. Now the charms, before we're done with this, they have like a pinked edge. It's a zigzag edge all around them. Some other things we do have that same thing. So people ask, do you count that when you're measuring a 1/4 inch in? I have measured many of these just to see if there's rhyme or reason. They're slightly off pretty much all the time. The only thing it adds to this 5 inch square is possibly a 1/16 of an inch. It's not a lot. It may not be enough to matter to you, but if you sew a scant 1/4 of an inch, I would count the zigzag inch because that will help you give a real scant 1/4. So charms are wonderful. They're good for making 9-patch blocks, even a 4-patch block out of 5 inch charms. Now, a lot larger than the charms is a layer cake. So a layer cake is a 10 inch square piece of fabric. And again, one of them is called a layer cake, and a bunch of them is a pack. All right, a pack of layer cake. Well, it's not a pack of layer cakes. It's one layer cake that has 40 to 42 different pieces of fabric in it, okay? Let me be clear. The layer cake is a plural term. It's talking about a group of 40 to 42. So they're great. I love these things. Now, last and certainly not least, but most interesting is the jelly roll. Jelly rolls, look at what I have here. Only one of these things on this table is actually a jelly roll, and it's this one. And why is that? Because this particular roll was made by the Moda Company, and they trademarked the term jelly roll. So even though it's become part of our normal vocabulary in quilting, if you're not using a Moda-made jelly roll, you're not using a jelly roll, you're using 2.5 inch strips. But we tend to toss the word around, okay? So this is a wonderful jelly roll. This one, it's called Kona brand, and they refer to it as roll-ups. So people have their own name for these. Benartex calls them 2.5 inch strips and package them differently. So it's really interesting. They're fun terms. They all do mean something. So I hope this gives you some idea as to what these crazy words mean, and happy sewing.